So if we want to make this design in Cricut Design Space, we first need to upload it, and this is what you'll get. You might get a sign saying there's a lot to download, but that's okay. It'll just take it a minute. We'll then hit upload and click on a design, add it to Canvas. The first thing we'll need to do is to ungroup so we can move things around. I put some words in just so you can see what each thing is. Let's zoom out so we can see everything. But you don't want to actually cut these words. And if you need help seeing them, you can make them bigger. It became a little small in Cricut. So the first layer is the backmost layer, and with this layer you want to do something a little bit more sturdy, either thicker cardstock, you could do draft wood, some craft board, even cardboard, just something a little bit thicker. I'm going to do a medium cardstock for this layer. The next layer is going to be your spacer layer. So this adds some thickness to our piece so that our little shaker pieces that we put inside can move around. There's two different options. Typically you want to do something a little thicker like craft board, foam sheets, something that has some thickness to it. I think I'm probably going to be doing some foam sheets for mine. And since it's a simple shape, I'm also gonna show a couple different methods to do this. So you can do this layer that has the bunny in it, or if you want just this egg shape. And again, just because it's an egg doesn't mean you have to use it as an egg. You can turn it sideways and use it as an oval. If you like this style here, and then put like a number inside of it, you don't have to use it for Easter. It also kind of depends. You can do a couple different things. So if you want your pieces that you put inside your shaker pieces to kind of go all over the place, maybe you just want an egg, then kind of like how I did my bird, how I put the wing on top and then the little shaker pieces like went behind the shape, then you might want to do this piece. But if you don't want your shaker pieces to go behind this bunny, then you might want this shape, and that'll kind of stop them from going in between. Then you'll want your acetate layer or clear acrylic. For the Cricut, probably the acetate would be the best. Then here is just for some extra decorative pieces. So if you do like craft board or foam sheet, it's not necessarily a pretty color. So you might want to cut these layers to make your piece look nicer. So if you did, let's say, this layer here, but you like your craft board or whatever, maybe you did a draft board and you painted it, so you just want to add the bunny like I did with the bird's wing, then maybe you just want to cut this piece and glue it right on top. If you just want to do an egg, then maybe you just want to do this shape, and you can put that on top to cover this layer. These can all be done with cardstock, vinyl, glitter cardstock, stuff like that would be nice. This one, let's say you did this shape and you want to cover it up, that would be a good one to cut. Or if you did this shape and you want that bunny but on top, but you also want to cover this egg shape, then you might want to do this one. There's also this, if you don't like the back of this bottom layer and you want to cover it up. I'm not going to do that because I don't care what the back looks like, it'll be fine. So I'm not going to do this one, but you can do it if you want. When you go to cut, just make sure you either select all of the text and either hit backspace. That's probably easier. You can also hit the eyeball to hide it. When you do, make sure you click where it actually says the word here, because otherwise if you just click that, you have to sit there and click it for each one. So we want to click and hide all of them. And and you can also use the backspace. I'm going to be cutting all these different layers except for this back one, just to show you some different ways you can use these. But whichever ones you decide not to use, just delete it, hit back, or hit the hide with this eyeball, like I just did with this orange egg. Now I'm making mine about 3 inches wide and about 4 inches tall. If you don't like that size, whether you want it bigger or smaller, then you can adjust it by hitting this. I just make sure that your lock is closed so that when you change the size, it doesn't change. If you unlock it, then you can change it unproportionally, which we don't want. And then if you accidentally change it, you can either hit this undo button, or Control Z is also an undo button, which is what I just did. But make sure if you change the size of one, you're changing the sizes of everything. And then you can hit make it. If you want, let's say, this layer and this layer to be on the same, you can change the colors. If you want to see how it looks, feel free to change colors. But for me, I'll just go like that. I might have forgot to delete a word, so I'll delete that layer, but then you can see all of our other layers are on here. So let's make it. Here's all of our pieces now that they're cut out. We have a back layer. I did both versions of the foam or acetate, and then I did all 3 of the decorative layers, and I'll play around with those to show you what each looks like. You'll have a few extra cutouts, so it'd be fun to do something with those. I did not do the back layer because it already has a nice back with this double-sided cardstock I used, but if you wanted to, you could print that out. Since it's a simple egg shape, you don't have to worry about mirroring it or anything, but with some of the other shaker designs, you would have to. For my filler, I'm going to use these little clay slices. It's from Hobby Lobby in the jewelry section. I think I'm going to go with the flowers, but we'll play around with those and see a few different options as well. Some other filler options you could do would be this tube confetti. You could do some sequences, or even the foam beads. Just with the foam beads and even this tube confetti, they are pretty staticky, so they don't always shake well with the static electricity of the acetate. So you just have to watch that or de-static them. Another thing to note is your acetate will have 2 protective layers, so make sure you peel those off, otherwise it's cloudy. I'll leave them on as long as possible so it doesn't get dirty. So some different options we can do is if we want the bunny here, so we'll glue the foam on top. Then I could just put that bunny layer on, so it'd be, I'll peel the acetate off. So then we would put a filler inside there. I would do more than this, but just to show you what the different things look like. And I think I'm going to do, with this foam layer, I'm going to do 2 layers of the foam. And then you would put your acetate. And then to cover up this, I mean, you could leave it just like this. Some of the glue will show here though, so you can use that to decorate it with. You could even do a second layer with that on top. You could do, if you don't want to use this extra piece here,
You could do just the bunny here. And then the egg on top. Kind of like having the blue egg in both. So that's one style, another style. You could do that because that's kind of pretty. You could do just line them up. You could do just that. Or you could even do just the bunny. Now if you decided you didn't want this foam layer, you could do this. So with this foam layer down where the bunny is, these shakers won't go behind it. But with this, it's kind of like my bird, how the little flowers went behind the wing. So in this shape, if we did then the acetate layer and then a bunny on top, these shaker pieces, they can go behind the bunny. So you could do it like that. You could do just a simple egg. You could even do a decorative layer over the egg like that. Obviously more filler would be put inside. And you can also do that layer on top. It all depends if you want your pieces to go behind the bunny or in front and around the bunny. So there's lots of different options we can do with this. Here's what a shaker looks like, all finished. And I think it shakes pretty well. I did 2 layers for the foam. I think next time, instead of doing the foam layer and the bunny, I would do just the egg shape. That way the pieces can fall behind the bunny, and that way it just moves a little bit better. Sometimes it gets stuck on the bunny. I would also do this thin tip glue bottle next time. I keep my Elmo's glue in here, but I might put the tacky glue in here as well for a different bottle, and that way I have more precision, and so it's not quite so messy when it came out. If you would like more in-depth instructions and a list of supplies I used, please visit my website, knfdesign.com. It'll be in the bio there, along with where to get my design. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps my channel. Thanks. Happy crafting.